So Rashmi Madam has been an accomplished educator for over 25 plus years, and she has held varied positions in her career, spanning from teaching to administration. She has also donned the mantle of heading a department. Currently, the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of VTU Belagavi has engaged her services in the capacity of an associate professor. Her administrative responsibilities at the university include but are not limited to serving as a special officer, coordinator for research hub, nominee for startups and innovation related activities. She has been the key player in the successful sanction of grants of rupees 20 lakhs from the government of Karnataka for the project VTU Center for Big Data Computing. Being an active uh, proponent of free and open source software, she oversees and coordinates FOSS activities for the VTU FOSS group at VTU Bilgan. In the field of research, her interests lie in artificial intelligence and machine learning, cloud computing, network security, and innovative teaching learning. In particular, adopting innovative teaching practices to facilitate all rounded engineering education is her prime area of focus. She has been reviewing articles submitted to Springer journals and has been session chair for more than five international conferences. She has delivered 20 plus invited talks in the area of artificial intelligence, machine and deep learning, cloud computing in Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Goa. Rashmi also has an array of publications to her credit at national and international levels. She has book chapters to her credit in the books published by Elsevier and Springer. She has been the recipient of Best Thesis Award and also has two Best Paper Awards of international credibility to her name. Her recent key achievements include Indian patent published titled Hybrid Machine Learning Model for Multi-Level Malware Detection in Virtualized Computing Environment and copyright granted for the project Creative Center for Big Data Computing, Australian Innovation Patent for the project Artificial Intelligence Technique for Malware Footprint Detection. So we are really very fortunate to have you, Madam, today with us. And on behalf of entire VKIT and on behalf of students, faculties, we would like to welcome you, Madam.
Thank you, madam. Give me a minute. I think everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the institute for giving me this opportunity to deliver this session on intelligent horizons, exploring the world of artificial intelligence and machine learning. I have been working in this area for quite some time, and it is very this topic is very close to my heart. So I'm very happy to be with you here. So this is going to be the outline of my presentation. I will briefly discuss what is AI, what is ML, DL, and I'll touch upon generative AI, which has become a buzzword these days. I'm sure all of you must be using Google Maps. The morning first thing when you get up, you want to unlock your phone, so you use your face detection, recognition, auto correction. All these are not new to us. We have been using for quite some time, right? But what's behind all these? We are in an era where everything is smart. We say smartphones, smart cities, smart homes. So that means everything has become smart. That means machines are having the intelligence which human were having all these days. So the question that arises is are the machines intelligent enough to do all these things, whatever we are doing, like showing us the maps or recognizing the faces, giving us the suggestion, voice assistant, and plethora of applications. So the question here is, who is intelligent, whether man or machine? Many times when somebody does some calculation fast or somebody does quickly, we say that, oh, you are like a machine. to the question that arises, I think some of you have to unmute yourself, mute yourself, please. There is some disturbance.
Request all the participants to kindly mute yourself. Divyashree, Divyashree DG, kindly mute.
Okay, so who is intelligent, man or machine? That's the question to be answered, right? Many a times we, when somebody is very quick at doing some calculations or maths, we say that, oh, you have a computer mind. So from that, a common person or all of us would feel that, yeah, machines are much intelligent than man. But I'm sure if I ask now that we are in online session, otherwise if it was offline, I would have loved to hear from all of you. What is your answer on that? Right? But right now, let me only answer. It is a man who has the intelligence. Machines do have, but of different kind. We will come to it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So,
So,
machine is nothing but
machine is nothing but
just a dumb piece of hardware, you know. It just follows the instruction. You see how you all of you are in computer science, so all of you are used to writing program, right? So what is a program? Program is nothing but set of instructions. What is an instruction? A command given to the machine that do addition, subtraction, simple as that. So what happens here is machine is just obeying the command or instruction given by the man. Machine is just a piece of hardware without having any intelligence to it. So surely the answer to this question is man is more intelligent. But just now we saw in the few previous slides that machines are doing so many things which look so very fancy to human beings. And for us to do that would take a lot of time. So how do we take it? And that's why we coined the word artificial intelligence. See, we human beings have some kind of intelligence. We, even if we are dumb, but we have certain intelligence because we can understand, we can comprehend, we can remember, we can reason. That is the natural intelligence that we all human beings possess. Now we are trying to kind of induce this intelligence into the machine. And that's why the word artificial intelligence. Whatever human beings were doing up to now, we want machines to do it. Okay, so we have certain cognitive capabilities, like just now I told you, reasoning or representing the knowledge, planning, learning. All these things machines couldn't do. When machines were invented years ago, they were doing just very basic tasks. And eventually there were so many advancements in technology, so many advancements in algorithm, in hardware, and all that has led to it. We will come to it. So what is artificial intelligence? As the name shows, it is the intelligence which is artificially induced into the machine. There are so many other definitions or dimensions of AI. You can say it is a branch of computer science wherein you are building machines which are smart and which are capable of performing tasks which were done only by humans earlier. Now we want machines to behave or mimic the behavior of the human beings. Now, how exactly that happens? Why is it possible now? Why are we talking of these things now? Basically, the cognitive skills required are to behave like human beings are learning, reasoning, creativity, adopting, self-correction, and all that. So I'll come to it. Now, why are we talking of machine learning or artificial intelligence now? This has been there for a long time, but why these have become buzzwords now? More so because we are in an era where there are so many technologies at peak. For example, you have cloud computing. With cloud computing, you get a storage at a very reasonable rate, which was never before. Earlier days, even if I had to send an SMS, it couldn't be stored in a network for more than few microseconds or seconds. Now with cloud computing, you can get cheap storage. You can store large amount of data. Second thing is, for machines to learn, we have to train them. To train, I need something, that is, I need some data. Now we have lot of data getting generated every day. You must social networking sites, online transactions, IoT, so many sensors collecting data. So social network, so all these give rise to kind of deluge of data. So we have a lot of data, we have a lot of storage, and we have also got some advancements in the technology, that is ICT technology. We have very high performance computing, that is graphical processing units available, wherein you can do the computing at a very, very high speed. So this amalgamation of all these technologies have fueled the growth of machine learning or AI. So that's why we are talking of it now. Now these have become so very common and buzzwords. Otherwise, neural networks, artificial intelligence was there even in 1950s. But that time, the technological advancements were not so enough that we could support. We didn't have so many algorithms which could support this kind of computation. So that is why AI is becoming very, very important or very, very popular nowadays. So what is AI? Let's come back to it. You can have different types of intelligence. You have one of the intelligence is automated. As the name shows, you don't require any human interference. Machine is automatically takes its decision and behaves like a human being. But we haven't reached that step as yet, at least in our country. We have assisted intelligence where you require some kind of intervention of the human beings. Other one is called as augmented intelligence. This is very, very popular because as the name shows, it augments the intelligence of the humans. Just now when we were talking of whether man is intelligent or machine is intelligent, so there we could say that man has some capabilities which machine doesn't have, and at the same time machine has certain capabilities which lacks in human beings. For example, machines can work tirelessly on any job which requires a lot of computation, monotonous, even if they are monotonous. For a human being, if you give some task, he may do for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. But somewhere, if you give him the same task for whole day, he gets tired, he gets weary of it, he gets bugged up. Whereas machines can work tirelessly. So machines are good at, they can do the work precisely. If I give you the same job, after a few hours, when you get bored, you are prone to make certain errors. But machines do not do that. But at the same time, machines cannot take decision, machines cannot understand, machines cannot learn how human beings adapt, learn from the environment. So these two, when they complement each other, that becomes augmented intelligence. Another type of intelligence is autonomous. We are yet to arrive at it. It is a new way of AI where machines act one step above the human beings, wherein they act like advisors and decision makers. So basically, what is AI? Most of the times in AI, you have two things. One is initially you need to have the problem to be solved. So to solve that problem, what is the knowledge that you require? That is knowledge representation. And second problem that AI boils down to is search. So how do you represent knowledge? For example, let's say now we use AI for game playing a lot. Right? And I tell what is the target function, whether it is a car, yes or no. So that is mapping between the input values and the output value. Next, when I show the new image of a car, machine has to map it and tell me whether yes or no. So it is kind of classifier. So that means you have initially when you are showing, like when you are learning in school, initially when you started learning addition, what your teacher did, teacher showed you some of the examples. She worked out some examples for you how to do addition. Okay, so when she gave you sufficient number of examples, you learned the rules of the addition, you understood how to do addition. Then when you had exam or when you had a test, you were given a new problem. How did you solve that problem? By applying the rules of addition that you have learned. Correct? So that's how it is. You have the training data, a lot of data is available. Out of that, some part is used to train the machine. So we call it as training set, and the remaining is testing set. So if you look at the basic workflow of the machine learning, these are the different steps. First, you need to get a lot of data. You have to gather the data from various sources, and you have to decide.
Call them.
We have 70% of the data which is used to train the machine, and remaining data is testing. So once we do the pre-processing, next comes we need to decide what model to use, like whether you want to use, depending on the type of data you have, whether you have the images, just now I told image of a car, or you have a text. For example, in Gmail, nowadays we have the feature which will, Gmail has its own feature and it will filter. So it will put the mails into spam on its own. Otherwise, we need to decide, looking at the contents of the mail, looking at the sender of the mail, whether it is a spam email or it is not a spam. So there it is text. Once we choose the model, then we need to train the model. After we have trained the model, we need to, here we need to evaluate. Evaluate means, like your teacher taught you how to do addition, she gave you sufficient number of examples, then she gave you the test. And in test, how you have done, what is your performance in the test, she evaluates to decide whether you have been trained well or no. If your performance is not good, that means you have not yet understood, you have not yet trained well, you need to be trained with more and more examples. So once training and evaluation, once we get a confidence that the machine has learned sufficiently well, then it can be deployed wherever whichever application it was designed for, we can deploy it. And next it can be used for prediction. That is any new data which is not acquired. So this is the workflow. First we collect the data. We need to prepare the data. While preparing, we have to remember, preparing data means we have to look at the quality of data. Some are the outliers in the sense they don't fall in the normal range. So we need to ignore them. Then we need to train the model, which is done by experimentation and iteratively, and finally deploy the model. So by getting, now we know what is machine learning, what are the different types of machine learnings. So there are basically actually 3 categories. Here I have shown 2 categories in the first this. So first one is called as supervised learning and another one is unsupervised. As the name shows, supervised learning means it is like under the supervision of a teacher. Like teacher is teaching you how to do addition. She tells you what is the correct answer also. Let's go back to the example of the machine learning. Now I gave you the example of the car. So I give a lot of images of the car and I also tell the output to the machine that this is a car and this is not a car. This I show many emails to the machine and I tell the machine, yes, this is a spam email and this is not a spam. This whenever you have some report, so whether this is a tumor, like in healthcare, whether it is cancerous or not cancerous. What I mean to say is we are also giving the output to the machine. That is called as a label. So supervised machine learning means we are giving labeled data. Teacher is giving you the answer as well. So that is So supervised learning you can use for classification. Just now I gave you the example, yes or no, whether it is cancerous, not cancerous, whether it is email is spam or not spam. So this is called as classification. You can have binary or you can have multi-classification. Another one is regression. I'll just come to it. Second type of machine learning is unsupervised. So unsupervised means you can see the diagram depicts more here. In supervised, you are classifying one side, two classes here you can see. In unsupervised, what we do is we try to, there is no output, no label given to the machine while training. We don't tell whether this mail is spam or not spam. We just give the mails to the machine. And now machine itself itself, it has to identify what are the similarities, what are the patterns, and it should group them. So that is, those grouping are nothing but clustering. So you are kind of grouping based on the similarities. We are not giving any hint to the machine as to classify or do regression. And the recent learning, that is reinforcement learning, your chat GPT, I'm sure all of you are using chat GPT, which was trained using reinforcement learning. So I'll take up in detail. Reinforcement learning is like you reinforcing the idea. It is like we don't want human intervention. You have something called as software agent, so which learns looking at the environment. I'll be coming to it. So it is learning. You are learning on your own from your mistakes. So this is supervised, which is called task driven, unsupervised, which is data driven learning, and this is reinforcement learning. I have just given one data set here just to get you the feel of it, how a data set. For example, I have a data set which allows me to decide, wherein I want to decide whether I should play tennis today or no, looking at the weather. So there are, you can see all these which are in black, they are called as input attributes, and output or the label here is either yes or no. So I look at whether the outlook is, how should students get equipped for the job market. In future or in days to come, we do not want students who can do only coding, because coding, as you all have been experiencing, these generative AI can generate code for you. What you need to equip yourself is how to be a good critic. Look at the code. It is, you need not believe that always what generative AI has given you or has generated is the appropriate one. You need to look at the code. You need to introspect, criticize, come up with the questions which are called as refute questions. Refute questions are the questions which will question when the code generated is incorrect, or for which set of inputs the code may not work properly. So rather than relying completely on generative AI, you should equip yourself how to question it, how to check the correctness of it, how to critique the code. There are a lot of tools available. Now this webinar is not the right platform. We can have one more. There are a lot of tools available which can allow you to generate these refute questions, allow you to evaluate the code, evaluate the compare the performance of the code, efficiency of the code. But you also have to equip yourself with these aspects. So that was just a brief about generative AI. Few of the tools which you could get familiar with would be these. And the sequence in which you should learn your Python should be first learn programming language, then you can learn some of the libraries. NumPy, SciPy, scikit-learn is for machine learning, matplotlib and all for visualization, and so on. So that's I come to the end of my this. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer online, or you could get in touch with me by dropping an email to this ID. Thank you.
Okay, madam.
So thank you, madam, for giving me this opportunity of sharing my thoughts on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, madam, for sharing your valuable thoughts about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Hope our students have greatly benefited by this webinar. And on behalf of Vivekananda Institute of Technology, we would like to thank you for such a wonderful session.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you again. And sorry for the technical glitch. I think there was some discontinuity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam.
Yes, madam. Thank you. Bye.
I request students to fill the feedback form. It is in chat box.
Yes, madam. With your permission, I'm leaving the meeting now. Yes.
Yes, madam. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Bye.